In this video, we're going to cover the basics with regards to bringing in an SVG file into the EL Digitizer. And it's all about prepping your artwork. We're going to show you what needs to be done before we start assigning stitches. So let's get started. Inner Circle members, in your classroom, download the lesson files below this tutorial. And YouTube viewers, check out the EL software link in the description below. Well, I have a new page up and I have it set to the cotton recipe, which is the default recipe. And now I'm just going to go to my import vector art. I'm going to click on that, bring in my vector artwork. It'll open up onto the page, and then I can Control A to select everything in that object, and I can see that my properties came up. My properties were already in the side. If my property box is not showing, I can either click right up here under properties, or I can just right click on the actual image while it's selected, and I can bring up the properties box. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this width, and I'm going to make this 5 inches wide, and it made it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to bring that over and center it on the screen. And let's take a look at it before we get started, because we need to really prep our artwork for what we want to do, which is have it digitize the design and run on the machine in a friendly order. And you have to remember that when artwork is created by an artist and they created this original SVG file, they were not thinking that this was going to be run on an embroidery machine. So odds are when we go into all of these objects and we look at the sequence of them, you can see that they're kind of all broken apart randomly in different pieces. And this is where I need to go in and start to organize this a little bit better. For whatever reason, it's seeing this one object and this one here as, you know, 2 different colors, even though the artwork came up as one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assign these two as one color. It really doesn't matter which color I choose, but I'll try to make it sort of a same blue color. And there we go. Now it's all blue. And now when I look at that, I can see that that object is all blue, and I could click off the fill, so I'm just getting outlines at this point. Now if I look at this object right here, I'm going to go to this object and I can see that it's all the way down at the bottom here, and I'm going to make that one just an orange color so that I have a different color there in orange. And if I look at this one right here, this is the center object, which is showing it as you know, a white stitch. So I'm going to make this one a yellow so that I have yellow there, and I'm going to click off of that fill as well. So now I have that. And if I start to look at these other pieces, I have actually, I'm going to do a couple things. This is part of the preparation, but I'm going to take this image right now and I'm going to copy it and I am going to paste it. So I have 2 images pasted, and I can see that it has this image right at the bottom, the one that I just did. It is selected, and I'm also going to select this one here. So now those 2 are selected. I'm going to change them both to a purple color, and while they're still selected, I am going to hit this one right here, which is branching. This is actually pretty much the same as going in and telling it to combine it. So if I hit branching, you're going to see that it's going to actually combine those 2. So it's combined those 2 into one piece of artwork. This one here is you know, showing up as yellow right now. Although you see if I fill it, it'll show as yellow, but I'm going to keep that as an outline as well. I'm going to switch the outlines off on this one as well. So now I have all of these objects here, and then I'm going to look at these 2 objects. I see one object there and one object there. I'm going to make those green, and I'm going to hide those as well. So what I've done is I have kind of resequenced all of these pieces, and now I have to figure out what I want to sew first, because I am going to have to reorganize these so that they are in a friendly manner. And right away I can see that, yes, I will want to do the lettering first, and then I'll probably want to do the leaves next because they are underneath of the flower. But I'm probably going to take this one here and move it up 1 in the order so that it does the center of the flower first, and then I will go in and do the outside of the flower, and then I will do that piece last. But what I need to do is I need to take a closer look at these objects and make sure that they are going to be in the right order, because I can see already that this object right here will need to be worked on a little bit. So I'm going to zoom into that just a bit, and I'm going to go over to my tools here, and I'm going to hit this one, the shape edit, and I'm going to start slicing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right over here, and I'm going to put a point right here, and I'm going to put a point right here, and then I'm going to right click and hit another point, and right there that actually sliced that object. So if I'm looking at this, this would be the first piece. So I'll move it up in the sewing order. This will be the second piece. And this will be the third piece. So I'm gonna grab those two pieces and I'll just move those up in the sewing order so that they are going to sew logically number 1, number 2, number 3. Then I have to look at the L, which I'm going to break apart, and when I can just pan over a little bit. When I look at this, I'm going to take that one object and I'm going to use the same tool, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to slice, and I'm going to slice it so that this piece is first here to here, and then that was 2 left clicks, and then a right click to separate it, so it's going to do that little piece. Then I'm going to look at this piece, and I want to hold the control down and do this piece. So I want those two to be together, and I'm going to use that same combine, but this is actually branching, but it will combine those two together. So now when I see it, I have these two pieces now that are joined up, and then all I have to do is slice this object right from here to here and right click. Now that piece is done. Now this one here, when I look at this piece, there's that one, and now I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to hit control, and I'm going to again automatic branch or combine those together. And when I see this now, they're combined together, I'm going to go back to my slice, and I'm going to slice from here to here, and then I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to take this object, so I'm going to hit the select, which is also the letter A. So I can hit the letter A on my keyboard and it will it'll automatically select there. Then I can select the object that I want, which is right here. I'm going to grab those two again. I'm going to branch or combine them together. It's kind of a quicker way to actually branch things. And then I'm going to grab those two and I'm going to slice these as well. And when I slice this one, I'm going to go right from here to here and then right click. And now I have all my pieces. So if I look at all these little pieces here, I'm going to just hit the A again to select this object. And I'm going to see where that object is. And I want to have that one first. Then I want to have this one second. And then I want to have that one third. So I have all these objects pathed, but I'm going to grab all of them and I'm going to move them up in the order so that they are right here underneath of these three. So now if I look, it does this one, then this one, then this one, this one, this one, this one, and then it goes to the L, and it just continues on, and now it's kind of making sense. But same thing, I need to look at this piece, which is already grouped together. So because it's grouped together, all I have to do is take this and slice it right from here to here, and that was a left, left, and then a right click. And then I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to hit the A key on my keyboard, which is the select. I'm going to select it. I can see that it's already grouped together as well. So all I'm going to do is, again, go to my slice and hit my slice and go right from here to here and then right click. And it didn't work that time, so let's try it again. I got to make sure that, there we go, now it worked. And then I'm going to hit the A key again, select this object, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let's slice, and I'm going to slice from right here to right here this time, and then I'm going to right click, there's my pieces, and then I'm going to hit the A key again, hit this one, let's slice this one up. So I'm going to slice this one right from this point here to here, and that's done that piece. And then I'm going to just hit my space bar, pan over a little bit, and hit that A key again. I love my hotkeys. Grab this one, let's slice this one, and I'm going to slice right from here to here and then right click. So there's all my pieces all sliced, and if I look at the order of this, I just want to go to this one right here, and now I can see that it's doing this one, this one, this one, this one, and then it's going to do this piece, this piece, and this piece. So it's actually set up in sequence now in the exact way that I would like this to actually stitch out on the actual embroidery design. So part of working with an SVG file, the first part, is going in and basically setting up that artwork that was created by somebody, and starting to break it apart into different pieces the way you would like to see those satin stitches turning and all that kind of stuff, and the order in which they should actually be placed so that they will sew out in the same order. If you do this first and prep everything, then the next steps will be much easier as you start the digitizing process, because you won't have to go in and start moving around objects and all of your pieces in sequence afterwards. So for me personally, this is the way to go, and now we can quickly assign stitches to all of these objects. Well, my artwork is all broken apart, and I'm going to start with the lettering. As I said, everything should be in the right sequence, but I might want to look at the kerning between these letters and see if I want to adjust them a little bit. I can see that some of the space, especially between learn, unless I wanted to trim between each and every letter, I might want to adjust those a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is when I'm on the ruler on the top here, I'm going to left click and drag, and it will give me a guideline that I can bring down, which is kind of important if I look at this and if I want to start kerning something. That way it gives me kind of a little bit of a visual as to how close things are. So I can come in here now and I can start grabbing these objects, and if I do want to kern them together a little bit like that, if I want to grab, let's say, this object right here, and I do need to make sure that I select it properly, so let's escape, and I want to select this one and this one. It wouldn't allow me to select those before because I actually had another object selected on the outside, that little starburst. So I'm going to grab this one right to here. Let's just make sure that one's on the line, and then I can grab this one right here, and I'll just make sure this one's in line. So this is just allowing me to have some kerning closer between those letters so I can avoid having trim commands in between them. Now also, I am going to show you a little trick as far as how to drop a stitch in between these objects as I'm creating them. But one thing I do need to make sure that I do before that is I need to look at my color, which right now is sky blue, brother sky blue, and I think it's actually number 47 if I'm not mistaken, but I really don't know which number that is unless I look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come here and I'm going to grab that entire color and I'm going to make it number 44 because it was actually on a green before. Now, the reason why I did that is I want this one color to be highlighted for everything that I do within this, because I'm going to be dropping a stitch in between, and I don't want the stitch to be dropped in the green color. I want it all to be blue. So I chose the blue before I started to avoid any confusion later on. And now I'm just going to zoom in. I'm at 600%. I'm going to pan down, and now I can go in and I can start to grab each of these objects, and I'm going to convert to stitches. So I'm just going to grab that one, convert it to a stitch. It turned black, which means that I can actually put my inclinations. When I hover over it, a little plus mark appears with a black dot. That is letting you know that you are in inclination mode. And then after I do the inclination, enter, enter, and it will generate the object. Keeping in mind that within my software, my auto features are on. All those auto features are on. Now I can grab the next object and I can continue to just put in inclinations, and then I'm going to hit enter, enter, and it did the next object, and I'll just continue to select the objects in the order that I've already organized them in and put in inclinations and hit enter, enter. And then this one is going to be my next object over here. Let's just pan this over so that we can see it, and I'll continue to grab each of these and put in inclinations just like that, enter, enter. Grab this one right here so I can select, grab that one, and I'm going to put an inclination here and continue to go around. And again, hotkeys are wonderful as well because I know that my Q key is my select key, so I can actually hit that. Let's just go here and actually, well, let's select it. So I'm going to select and grab this one and just continue to put inclinations. let's just pan up. So space bar, left click and drag, enter, enter. And now I'm going to pan over to this side and start with the L. So I'm going to grab this one and let's just select and select that object, convert it into a satin. I'm going to put a point right here and a point over here, one in the corner, and then I'm going to ease into my corner a little bit, something like that. Enter, enter. Now, well, it is actually there. And if I look here, I can see which object it's on. If I select it, and I'm going to turn off the 3D just so we can see it. If I select it right now and I right click, it says digitize after. And this is the key, because now if I hit in the center of that object and I put a point right from, let's say, here to here and hit enter, it's giving me a stitch across and it's dropping a stitch in between. So I can see now I have a connector going to the next letter. And then I can grab the next letter and I can say I want to have a satin. So I'm just going to put in my points, something like this, turning these around, and do something like that. Enter, enter. Then I can select this object right here. And again, I'm going to right digitize after, hit that center, and let's go right from here to here, enter. And it's giving me again a point right there. Then I can hit this object right here. Let's create this into a satin. Enter, enter. Grab the next object. And I'm just following all these objects along, making sure that I have my inclinations in correctly. Do this one from here to here, enter, enter. And then I'm going to, again, grab that object and tell it to right click and digitize after. Grab that run stitch and go right in between. And that way I have a connecting stitch there. And then let's pan over so that we see this on screen. I'm going to select this object right here, tell it to be a convert to run, put inclination, inclination, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then I'm going to grab the next object right here, and I can see they're all already lined up in my sequence view. Grab this one, inclination right here, enter, enter, grab that object, tell it to, again, right click, digitize after, center, and then let's put a point right here to here, enter, and then I have this object, so I'll just select the next object, which is this one, and I will do inclination and inclination, enter, enter, and then the last object right here is going to be another satin, and I have successfully done all of the pieces. And this is actually going to be a very production friendly design. So everything is done. Turn the 3D on and all those pieces are done. And there is only one trim between these two. All the rest actually don't trim between each other. And then it becomes pretty simple. I just have to start grabbing these objects again in the sequence that they've already been organized, and we will start filling them in with stitches. So now I'm just going to continue on running through the process. I can just zoom into that a little bit. Let's pan up so we can see it on screen. We'll do all these pieces. That one's first. Again, let's just do a satin stitch, inclinations going across, enter, enter. Then I will do the next object, again, inclinations going across, enter and enter. So there's that one done. Then I can grab this center piece and I'm just going to tell that I want it to be a convert to fill. And let's just grab that one there and let's just put a fill stitch in there. So I'm going to grab that and there's the fill stitch. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and I'm going to center it in there just like that. So I've made that bigger, and the reason why is now when I grab this one and I'm going to tell this one to actually be a convert to satin, all I have to do is grab that object right there and we're going to convert to satin, and it is not letting me convert. So let's see what is going on here. I'm just going to hit the undo, make sure that it's centered. I'm going to convert this back to artwork to make sure that it's going to be fine. and then let's see if it will convert to a satin when I click it. Now it worked. So anytime if I have an issue where I select something and the convert features don't show up, I can always convert it back to artwork, and then it will give me the option to go in and kind of redo that object from scratch. So there's my points, enter, enter. There is that, and I have that fill underneath already kind of done with the overlap. And everything is done in order except for this one last object right here. So all I have to do is zoom out on that one. Let's bring it center to screen, make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. And we're going to convert that to a satin as well. And now it's giving me inclination points. So I'm going to come in here and I'll just put in inclination points, turn this kind of like this right here. And there we go. And again, just grabbing these, continuing around the design, get right back to the beginning here and hit enter and enter. So that design is actually done. I'm just going to turn off the 3D. I'll come here and just turn off my outline so we can no longer see the artwork underneath. And let's do a quick redraw and see the sequence in which it sews. And it's going to do these pieces, then go to the lettering, then do that, do the flower around the outside, and finish off the little burst around the edge. And that is done. One little thing I might want to do when I edit that is let's select this object right here. I'm going to go to my node edit, and I'm going to have it start right here, and let's have it stop right down here so that we have a continuous path. And then let's click off of the object. And if we watch it sew again, this way that finished starburst starts there, goes all the way to there. I always suggest doing a redraw because it lets you kind of see the simulated sewing before you put it on the machine. And sometimes you find little issues and you can save yourself obviously machine time, and you don't have to do extensive editing after it's done. So anyways, let's save the JDX file because it's a native file format, and then let's run this on the machine and we'll see the results. Well, we ran the sample and the design looks super clean. I love how dropping a stitch between those letters causes the thread to completely disappear. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Inner Circle members, don't forget to download your lesson files below. Not a member yet? Join the Inner Circle and get access to exclusive bonuses, hands-on training, and everything you need to master embroidery digitizing. Click the link in the description to get started. Want to keep learning? Check out these tutorials next and take your embroidery skills even further.